Hey, this is William Tincup, Ryan Leary, and Amy Mosher. We are going to talk about the series, limited series that we did with iSolved, and it's the Heroes of HR. And we're going to do kind of behind the scenes. So it's
Mhm.
going to be, and we know Amy rather well, so it's going to be it's going to be fun. But we're
Yeah.
going to go through some of the episodes, but more importantly, kind of what was the take, what we were trying to achieve, and all that type of stuff. So, um,
When you say behind the scenes,
oh yeah,
does that mean we're doing like the outtakes and all that?
I would love that. I
Oh,
would
wow.
love that. Could I say that
Yeah.
again? No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah. Like,
no, there's
did
not
the blanket fall from the curtain?
not
Like, what
yet,
do we
but it's coming. It's coming.
Director's cut.
So whenever you talk, I mean, we've been contracted to do this bid a number of times to basically talk to customers. Not like with this one. And y'all have such a great strategy around uh, heroes, people heroes, that you've got a customer base that already kind of gets the bid. There's dolls, there's shirts,
The
I've
uh,
got
mark of a
all of
great
them.
there's all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff. It's
yeah.
pink.
of a
Like,
great
okay,
customer outreach strategy is a doll.
hey, hey,
You gotta go all
I
in.
guess is it a plushie? Is it plush?
I
Uh,
would call it a plush. I
it's
would call it a plushie. My seven year
it's
old or my 9-year-old now would
we
call it a
can't.
plushie. Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
not. We're not to the furry part. We're okay. So we're
Right.
plush
Yeah.
plush level. All right.
Although
So
Plush level.
all of out of all of the characters that I have, I don't have a full set. I've got like multiples of each one. I don't
Goodness.
have a full set.
I think you've mentioned
Ryan.
to every person that I solved.
Well,
Yet it's
let's
I'm
correct
just
that.
trying to get a
Let's
full set.
look. It's clearly important to you, Ryan. We should
clear,
definitely correct that.
clearly. Well, yeah, it's 2 girls. It does make sense. But what I think what helped us with this particular series is this wasn't new.
Hmm.
We already had a conversation rolling with your customers about elevating HR to hero
Yeah.
status.
Yeah.
So, like when we're talking to these people, it's different with a company that maybe doesn't have that connection with their customers.
Mhm.
Sure.
So some of the backstory is real quick. It's we were hired to basically interview, I think it was 15 of your customers.
Yeah.
And we reached out, scheduled time, blah, 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 and then got on the phone and we asked them the same questions or similar questions, if not the
Hmm.
same.
Hmm.
And you were included in that.
Yeah. Well, I'm a customer.
Well, yes, that's
Mhm.
customer zero.
Mhm.
Good point. Check.
I appreciate being included.
Yes. Yeah, it would probably be bad if they didn't include you. Yeah,
Right?
right. That's a
Right?
tell. So Ryan, okay, so from your perspective,
Yeah.
what do you think about the series? Like,
This was one of the I think the series. This is like a look back. This is
mm,
fun. This
yeah,
is this was like a series that out of all the ones that we've done, I was floored at the customer response. Usually you could tell when they're just,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh my
They're
god,
reading
I
a
was told to
script.
do this and
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
what they told me to say." They had some really insightful and like real
Oh
answers
yeah.
with
Oh
all
yeah.
of this and it's kind of like, are they going to be cheesy? Are they going to be staged? But I actually like it. There were moments in there with certain people that we interviewed where I felt motivated
Hmm.
enough to like talk to them after. I'm like, hey, tell me more about this.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I enjoyed every minute of it, and they were fun interviews too.
Oh, I love to hear that. For us, from a customer perspective, of course, it's a differentiator for us. We love our
Right.
customers, but we
Hmm.
actually love our customers.
Right.
Everyone says that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like everyone says we have great customer support.
Yeah.
Do you
Mm. No.
really?
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Some companies build a customer support
Mm,
business off of their product. So let's just
that's right. That's
separate those lines.
that's that's not that's not necessarily support. It's actually break fix. Thanks. Uh, but like
Defining line.
I think we were 5 interviews in, and
Yeah.
Ryan and I were floored by the nuggets. So
Yeah.
they had the questions, and so we take them through the questions, and there were so many nuggets in each segment. There were about 15-minute episodes or
What
so.
would you call a nugget, William? Like what's is it just like such wisdom or
Uh,
incredible accessibility or authenticity or
I'll give you a simple one. One that comes straight to mind is I think it was the second interview. She knew her customers. She knew her account rep's name
Yeah.
Hmm.
and shouted her out as doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Love that. But
Mhm.
gosh, why are we in such a weird place where that doesn't happen? Like, that feels so,
Because
for
lowered
me,
expectations.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Y'all have high expectations, and
agreed.
again you've elevated the position
Yeah.
to meet those expectations or expect
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. Well,
If
Hmm.
well,
yeah, go ahead.
one of the things that she had said that they had said on that interview though was they're not just a customer support person. It was a strategy, right? They're
Yes,
strategy calls, and so they can talk with them and just say, "Hey, I
love
have an
that.
idea. Can you be my thought partner on this?" And that
That's where
really
the
makes a
magic is,
difference.
right, Ryan? Like, that's where, we need to live in that space. In
Yeah.
that space.
Mhm.
We kept thinking, we'd get to, 3, 4, 5, get a 6, and at one point we're going to get a dud. We're just going to hit
Yeah.
the wall and like, okay, how do we, you know, put a shine on this turd? Didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Lipstick on a pig, probably a better analogy. You know.
Y'all don't,
I'm so
Oh
pleased that
y'all
that
god.
don't
did not
say,
happen.
y'all don't
I
say polish a turd. Is that that's that a Texas thing? That
I
might be
never
just. That might
never
be.
heard that one
Sorry,
before. Mhm.
y'all have never heard. My bad. Sorry.
I love it. I love
That's a
it.
that's definitely a
Yeah.
Texas thing, I guess. All
Yeah.
right, but we didn't run into that. We didn't
No.
run into a bad interview. We didn't have to do outtakes and schedule another interview or any of that type stuff
Mhm.
that
Love
happens
it.
normally. I would say these were just legit. Ryan and I sitting down, virtually talking to people. Um, One of the fascinating things that came from it for me is we talked to I think four folks that were in Iowa,
Mhm.
and I don't know the geography of Iowa. Being a Texan, a geography for us, I know Texas geography like the back of my hand. Now, the rest of the United States, there's California, New York, maybe Chicago, and a corn patch in the middle. That's
Which
all.
is Iowa.
Yeah. Which is
Right.
Iowa.
So of course, somebody's like,
Love Iowa, by the way. We have a lovely
"Oh,
office in
seriously. And so,
Iowa.
like, they'd say, "Oh, I'm from Cedar Rapids, or I'm Grand Rapids, I'm this, that, and the other." I'm like, I have no reference point. Where is that? It's like they're talking about, somewhere in the Middle East that I have no idea. So I'm like, where? Give me an idea. Okay, so we're down east to the this, we're close to this. Um, but they were all down to earth.
Yeah.
We talked to
Yes.
people in nonprofits. We talked to people for profits, hospitals, all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff. So we got an array, which was really cool. It
Yeah.
wasn't just one industry or another.
Love
And
that
we,
too.
but the trends, like if we were to go back and throw AI against it, you're just going to see that okay, at the end of the day, it could be just summed up. They love you,
Aw. Well, you look, we love them too. Like, it is a little bit strange though, having worked in other industries as well for me,
one
when
hundred
I
percent.
go to an event where I'm talking to our clients and you see them and they hug you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't happen
Yeah.
in software. Like,
Mm,
it's unheard of.
it's
And
strange.
you remember them and they remember you, like, from the last time you got together. And
Mhm.
or if you're on the phone, they have our cell phone numbers. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Yep.
they could
Yeah.
call our executive team. All of our clients have our CEO's cell phone number. Like, what? That doesn't happen. So it's definitely a community. We've created this community instead of this relationship where
Mhm.
it's reciprocal, but from the best possible way, right? Like, it's not, you're not taking advantage of them, they're not taking advantage of you. It's very much a shared partnership and experience, I think. And I feel like that's very authentic for us
Yeah. Well,
culturally.
it's interesting. One of the things that stuck out for me, and not just with this series, but things that we've done in the past,
Right.
a lot of these customers are repeats, whether it's the
Yes.
same person or not that we've spoken with.
Yep.
And even when we're at an event and they're not on the list, they
Yeah.
recognize us, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah.
And then we get an update. It's like we just got an update for a client that's not us, not
Yeah.
our client,
Yeah.
and we're learning about their company and we actually
Yes.
can follow their journey. I'm thinking of of Owen. I call her Owen,
Mhm.
up in Alaska, right, with, it's Hainsworth,
Mhm.
right? Like, there's such a crazy story there, and then you've got
Absolutely.
yeah, and then you've got these other the woman in Philadelphia, I can't remember the name of the company, but just the way she was saying it was so Philly
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
her, how she was saying how they work with their employees,
Yeah.
and it was about, I think it was about RTO or something like that. They're just
Uh-huh.
very relatable,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah. Well,
they
they're
just they
real.
just talk,
These
yeah,
are real issues and solutions, and
Yeah.
they're, very people focused, and I think there's a
Well
lot of alignment there with the way that we operate and the way that they're
yeah,
trying to operate in their
well, the
space. So,
get back to, Amy, something you said about authenticity.
mhm.
I think out of the other 25,000 HR tech firms in the world, I think you're in the 1% of 1% of 1% as a company of having this type of relationship. I think everyone wish they had this relationship with their
I
customers.
this is not my first rodeo, right? Like, I've been around the block a few times,
No
and
judgment.
this is very, very unique. I
Yeah.
feel as well.
mhm,
I feel excellent about it, obviously, but it takes a certain kind of magic
Yep. Well,
to
you
make
gotta have
this
the
work.
product. So first of
Yeah.
all, most people, no names involved, most people lie about their product. They
Hmm.
sell the
mhm,
roadmap, not the product.
Hmm.
Secondly, institutionally, they don't really care about their customers.
Hmm.
They see them as MRR, ARR,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
just we need more of that. And then they build in churn as just like, oh, yeah, that's just a cost of doing business. We'll just lose
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah.
And
right,
so they don't have the same value system.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the same value system and they don't have great software, it just breaks.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
you
I
you
agree.
can't get there without having that solid foundation. First of all, you have to have great software. Check. Okay, so beyond
Thankfully.
having great software, right? And that ain't
Not
an
always
easy.
the case.
And that ain't easy. Full stop. And you're always innovating and things like that. But you gotta want to have a great relationship with your customers.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
reminds me. 100 years ago, I worked for Sam Walton, and at the time I was a department manager for hardware,
Mhm.
and he was in the store and we were talking, and he goes, William, so what? He's looking at my. We're going aisle to aisle, so literally Sam and I are looking at all the stuff, and he goes, I noticed that you're out of wood handle hammers. I said, yeah, yeah, warehouse is out, blah blah blah. He goes, yeah, totally get it. He goes, what if a customer comes in and asks you about wood handle hammers? And I'm stumped. I'm like, what's the perfect answer, Sam? Like, come on, dude. I drank last night. Help me out. So, so he goes, here's the deal. Let's say you went to Kmart or Sears the week before, and you just so happen to notice that they have wood hammers. It's your, and he used the words, moral obligation to tell them that another store has what he wants or she wants, because that's how you build great customer relationships. You
Mhm.
just tell them the truth.
Mhm.
You don't try to sell them something else. You
Mhm.
don't try to do something, squirrely like that. You basically respond to them as a human being and say, you know what? We're out. My bad. However, I just so happen to be in Target or Kmart or whatever, and they have them. And so if that's what you need, then you should go over there. And he said, that's how that should happen. That's a relationship with a customer is a long-term relationship. It's not a transaction. Even though they're coming in to transact business, it's not a transaction.
right.
And I mean, he built that. It was called the Sam rules. He built the culture from the ground up like that to treat customers that way. And again, if you don't start that way, it's really hard to go retroactively
Mhm.
and fix that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's almost unheard of in our space.
Well, the basis is integrity,
Yep.
right? It's operating
Mm,
in a high value set just as a person, and then when you get a collection of individuals who do that and build a product with that in
yeah,
mind and service a product and solutions with that in mind, like that's the magic, I
yeah.
think.
One of the questions that we asked was, what does people here, when you hear the term people here, what does
Hmm.
it mean to you? the answers we got were
N- There
pretty
was no,
crazy.
there was nothing to say. No
No,
50.
there wasn't. And
Mhm,
I want to put William on the spot.
mhm.
When you hear the term people hero, what does it mean to you?
I think for me, I think it's the elevation of the position and of the career track, because I think HR gets so much flack and has historically all the way back to personnel days. It's the 100-year-old house, and they just get added to and added to. Expectations are whacked out, and so they're kind of beaten. If you talk to a
Mm,
lot of HR people
Mhm.
and you get them alone, you can be anonymous and all that type of stuff. They'll
Mhm.
tell you they're beaten, they're tired,
yeah.
Mhm.
and I think, for me, what I love about what I saw was done with the approach and the treatment of people heroes is that it's a noble profession.
Mhm.
And so if you're going from someone that's just beaten like a rag doll, and now you tell them you're a hero. We think you're a hero. You should
Yeah.
think you're a hero, and everybody else around you should think you're a hero and know that you're a hero. So I like the elevation of the career and the trajectory of the career, and for
Hmm.
people to think positively about themselves, because I think it radiates
Mhm.
out to their
Yeah.
workforce.
Mhm.
Yeah. Amy, I'm curious. So people hero as a community. I remember when you guys
Yeah.
started it. Tell us more about that for people who are listening or watching that don't know what that really means. What is people hero? Why the community? But also the growth, because it
Hmm.
it took off. Like,
It
it's
really
not a
did.
it went from, like,
Hmm.
this idea, but it's no joke, like, this isn't
Right.
just, like, a bunch of people we throw into a group in Facebook and we're messaging them.
Right.
Mhm.
This is a real thing. Tell us more about it.
Well, for us, we saw a need. There just wasn't that community out there, and there's so many like for like things that we deal with as HR practitioners across multiple industries, and
Right.
you're always, weighing socioeconomic challenges and industry challenges and people challenges and cultural changes and all kinds of things that we're all kind of dealing with at the same time when those things happen. And so being able to resource each other is special. It's unique, in this space. And so we saw a need and went for it. And that's why it caught on like wildfire, because it's
Mm,
so desperately needed and wanted.
Yeah.
And we are also naturally, I feel like, as HR practitioners, a community of communication and sharing and openness.
Right.
right.
And
It's,
so the participation just was off the charts because of
it
that.
it transcends software. I
It
think
does.
that's for me. There's software user groups for
Mhm.
a lot of the major players, right? So check, one of the things, you get to a certain size and you create a community, and then okay, but it's usually kind of if you go into those communities, it's just a bitch session. This doesn't
Mhm.
work. I don't like
Mhm.
that. You guys a lot. It's just a lot
Mhm.
of negative stuff.
Mhm.
This isn't that. This
No,
this
it's not.
It's rarely about software.
Right.
It's more about, "Hey, I'm
It's best
struggling."
practice. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
Mhm.
struggling with this onboarding
yeah,
list or whatever.
yeah. I think there's a vulnerability to HR practitioners that they
Yep.
feel comfortable
Yeah.
saying, I don't know how to do this.
Right,
How do you do this?
right.
Or I haven't encountered this before, because that's what we're doing all day, every day,
Mm,
is solutioning problems that other people can't solution, or that businesses haven't seen or people haven't seen before. So I think it's a natural kind of pickup there. I'm also, how we got here from a people hero perspective was we just applied natural, like known best practice about retention factors associated with like employees, and
Right.
went, okay, when you feel underappreciated, you leave.
Turns out.
pretty
And when you
pretty
feel appreciated, the self motivation's off the charts, and you
Yeah,
stay and you engage.
it's
And
crazy.
we just applied that to our client base, and it feels so obvious now.
I've had this in the back of my mind to ask you, for a while now. Do you think that whether or not it's explicit or implicit, do you think sales looks for customers that want to be elevated in this way?
For us,
And
I think they do. I mean,
okay,
it's a core differentiator for us. So it's something that we lead with
right,
now. And so people who are looking for community, they're looking for support, they're looking for understanding of what they're trying to achieve,
right,
Mm.
I think sells for
yeah,
sure. Because you're not selling the software, you're selling hope and future growth and support for an individual and a course of individuals as well as the organization. So
y-
the buyers are feeling just as supported in their ability to be better in their own roles as
yeah.
well as the organization.
It
So
seems that either naturally or otherwise that the system would kick out the people that just want the transaction. You know what
sure, I
I'm
mean,
saying? Like,
we'll
like
take those too. Let's be honest, like the software still works, William. So we're cool.
you're not turning
Cool.
away customers. You can't come in. All right,
This
shit.
is a functional
Jesus.
sale. Like we're good.
I've been in the VIP section. I get it. I understand. I know what you're saying about bottle
I mean,
service. I'm comfortable.
yeah, like we deliver there as well, but for
Okay.
us, honestly, that's price of admission, right?
So now the same question, but with employees. Do you think that you hire or promote to those that have those values?
Absolutely. 100% yes. We don't compromise on it. We're not going to hire someone who's really great technically, for example,
Right.
and who doesn't have the right communication skills or doesn't have a values alignment to us. The same thing happens if someone operates outside of our core values.
Right.
We're not afraid to have a very direct conversation or to take some kind of action. Like that's
Right.
incredibly important to us.
Right.
And by doing that, we gain a significant amount of trust with the employee base as well by making those tough decisions and making them for the right reasons.
Right.
And we can apply that even to when we have to change policies or we're in a situation where we're weighing the why. Is this a value call? Because if so, the answer is X, right? Like, um, and that is very powerful as well. And we're pretty transparent about the why from a decision making perspective strategically for the organization, which also helps with that.
Yeah. So I want to go back to the series quickly because I'm curious to get both of your thoughts. So, Amy, you've seen the series.
Hmm.
Mhm.
William, you were part of the
Mm.
series, right? So I
Yep.
have my favorite part, but I wanna know what was your favorite part of the series. Let's start with William. What was your favorite part of the series?
I
Putting
think
it together.
okay. So first of all, I was nervous because of the interviews being remote and nervous in the fact of you're
Yeah.
talking to people's customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Can we just say we were supposed to be
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
person
Oh
live?
yeah, oh yeah.
Right.
Good
Let's
point.
Right.
mention that because this I think ties
Right.
directly to the overall
Oh,
just
that's a great point, Ryan.
caring culture of iSoft. So Amy, maybe walk us through that. Like what happened
Yeah.
there?
Oh my goodness. So hurricane
Yep.
Yeah.
coming through Orlando on the days that we were supposed to be there for our customer on
Hmm.
site. We were expecting 1,000 customers, right? Like this was a big deal.
Yeah.
And the day before, we got word that it wasn't going to be an ideal situation for our customers. We didn't want to put
Mhm.
them in an unsafe situation, and so we pulled the plug on it. But very, very quickly
Yep. Very early.
got
Early.
and very quickly got the collateral together, right? Like still
Right.
offered a ton of support to our clients.
Hmm.
We had some clients that were already there that went in early to go to Disney World, that kind of
Yeah.
thing, and supporting them through what could have been catastrophic from just a weather perspective, right? And ended up everything was okay, right? But we didn't know that at the time. We didn't want to put our clients in that situation. And of course, financially, that's a huge hit for us.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
But
massive.
just from from a time, but that was the right thing to do,
It was
right? Like,
Right.
but
absolutely the
just
right
it
thing to
was the
do.
right thing to do. But it turned out honestly being a blessing because we were able to get core people together in a different location. We were able um, to tape, the content and
Hmm.
offer it to our client base
It
remotely,
was
which also went really
wonderful.
well. The support that we got from the clients was really strong. The support that we got from individuals like yourself who were going to participate with us was incredibly strong. So it funny when you do the right thing, how
Well,
things just
and
come
like
together.
Brian and I literally got the email, text message, whatever, that Saturday, and
Hmm.
we're both looking. And in Texas, once a hurricane gets around Cuba or into the Gulf, you literally have no idea where it's going,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But it was starting to curve back towards Orlando, and y'all pulled the plug quickly enough so that people could make changes in their travel.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. The
And so, but
interesting thing that you don't know, William, is that we were all on planes at that
oh,
Oh,
when we
wow.
had to make that decision. So we're all online on a plane on our way there
oh
early to get
my,
there early, and by the time we land, we're coming back. I came back. That's I didn't.
Oh,
I did a
jeez.
turnaround, but
Yeah.
also for us to be coordinating,
Yeah.
like we're pretty darn good at this now
yeah,
from an executive, working
that's
off site and
ag-
doing everything at the same time kind of thing. Like
agility,
it is,
organizational
Mhm.
it
agility.
is.
Again, to
But
be able
also,
to make that decision and make it quick,
mhm,
safety of your customers and your team,
mhm.
paramount, right?
It was really incredible. It was a great indicator of our ability to execute,
Yeah.
right? Like fast, clean,
Well,
communicate
first of all, you
well.
got to deal with the fact that okay, in Orlando we have all of this stuff. We've got people. Okay, now we still want to deliver that content or
Yeah,
some of that,
yeah,
most of that content to the
yeah,
audience that wanted that content.
yeah,
They registered
yeah.
for a reason.
Right.
Like
Thankfully, William, we have partners like yourself who are like, okay, I'll transition too. Let's do this remote, right?
yeah,
And then we had
Right.
clients with the same thing, like, okay, how can I help? I'll do via video, right? Like it was you that because we have that foundation of community, we'll take it all the way back.
right.
We were able to take advantage of that in
So,
this
so
particular
Ryan,
situation.
the
So,
second part of that is in person. You can read someone,
mm,
Right.
more than you can virtually. You
Sure.
can kind of get a bead on how they're at that day and all that other stuff. And virtually, it's harder to get to read. It's harder to kind of get them to a place where they'll open up and tell you their truths and stuff like that. And so I was nervous. And then we got 3 episodes, 4 episodes in. I'm like, okay, I can stop. I don't have to be nervous about this
Yeah.
anymore. I'm good.
They're gonna talk.
We're going to talk.
Yeah.
We're going to be,
Yeah.
and the answers are going to be great. And they're all going to be, I don't think we had, I think it was 5 questions. I don't think we had the same answer for any of the questions from any of the 15.
that's good. Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So they hadn't talked to each other and like coordinated a
Huh. No.
a joint
No.
response.
That's
A joint
exactly what I would
response.
Wow.
do, cheat off my neighbor.
Mhm.
However,
Yeah. Yeah.
what you got, Sarah? Okay, so all right. Anyhow, so but they didn't. No, they didn't do that. But
Love it.
also their responses were fantastic. Ron and I emailed all the marketing folks that we work with, and we were like, "Hey, we don't want to set the expectation too high,
Mhm.
but like y'all are going to love these transcripts
Oh,
because there's
I
some good
love
stuff in there that you can use in other
Yeah.
ways and different things.
great.
There's some quotes in there that are good, but that was my biggest worry, if you will, Ryan.
Mhm.
For for us, I wasn't worried about the quotes. Like, and you were gonna talk to some really great people. I know them, right? Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was good.
Good
I
point.
knew it was gonna be great. Um, for me, it was just validating to continue to hear that, because it's not like we don't all have challenges all the time,
right,
and our ability to support our clients through those challenges is kind of paramount to us, and that's reflective in those answers that they had for you, I think, and just rolling with the punches and the change.
Yeah.
They're pretty special to us. So, and our clients stay around, right, because of it, which is
right.
is pretty cool.
And
It's
those
pretty
that
cool.
leave, on the rarity that they leave, they go elsewhere. I can't imagine them having the same experience
They
somewhere
don't,
else.
and
Boomerang.
some of them come back,
Yeah.
and many of them come back. They're given a pink ticket if
Yeah,
they leave, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
they're like,
Mhm.
come back anytime. We're here for
yeah,
you. Like
Yeah.
we treat you the same way on the way out as the way in, right? Like when you figure out you're not going to have a named customer support representative,
yeah,
and
yeah.
when you go to their
Makes a
offsite, they're
difference.
not going to hug you, and it's not going to, and you can't get a hold of someone in
Hmm.
22 seconds
And you don't
like
have
you
a
can
community
here in
that you can ask
you don't
questions.
have a community
Yeah.
that you can talk to. Like
All of those
those are
things and software. I mean, and
and the
again,
product and the improvements that we're making to the product all the time and how we listen to them to get
that's
things
right.
onto the product roadmap, for
Yeah.
example. Like that process I think is very unique.
Yeah.
That threw me actually. It was one of the road shows that y'all did last year, and Ryan and I went to it. I think it was the one in Dallas. And like, you have a product leader and they're showing stuff, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And somebody asked a question and said, I'd really like for it to be able to do X. And they took notes. Like
Oh,
that wasn't
absolutely.
it was like I'm here to teach you about
Absolutely.
what's new. However, if you've got some
Hmm.
other ideas, bring it.
Yeah.
And I remember that. I remember that
It's really
moment where it's like,
powerful.
huh,
There are many items on the current product roadmap from those discussions.
right.
My favorite part of those kinds of interactions is that we bring a team to our interactions with our clients that we have on a regular basis, and when we bring our clients together, which is also really unique, I think,
Right.
when we roadshow, and we bring people to those meetings that can sit down with someone, go into their instance live, like in the moment,
Yep.
And do
and
it.
they're
Yeah.
both sitting there with their laptops, and the practitioner's like, what really bothers me is that this should be a drop down instead of a text field. And it literally is like she's like, oh my god, this has bothered me for 5 years, and I just never thought to ask, and it's fixed in 30
Yeah.
seconds. Like, and when we'll just, I can help you with that.
Hmm.
Like, and it's so, why don't ask more of your vendor?
Yeah.
100%.
Optimization is real, but also kind of unique in HCM, I have to say. Like, we do have a very robust optimization function and team within
Ron,
the business.
what was your favorite part of the series?
I think so. I don't have one specific, but I do have. I don't have one specific moment, but I do have a thing of throughout the entire
A,
series,
a thread,
a thread, a thing, a theme.
a thing.
Um, Everybody that we interviewed, they weren't CEOs.
Uh-huh.
They were in the
Yeah.
grind,
Yeah.
doing the thing, and I don't know if it's I don't know if I think everybody's 15 years old, Amy, like my kids, and like they don't know how to talk proper. But I'm like, wow, like
That's
they're
eloquent.
yeah,
Oh,
wow,
that
like
was
you really
really,
have something to say here. It's because I think we overlook the doers in every
Yeah,
organization, the
right.
benefits administrator, the payroll
mhm,
processor. These are
mhm.
the people that get overlooked. But if they don't do their job, you don't get paid. Like
Yeah,
Mm,
you don't get that check,
real.
right? And yeah, and to hear them talk about it and then to just really just describe what they do and how they feel in
yeah,
such like easy to understand manner.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason that took me back and I was kind of like, okay, I'm learning something here. And I actually learned what some of these people do and which was not my intention. Right?
it's
The
just
intention
Fascinating.
was ask the questions, get
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
answers and enjoy it.
No,
But I learned. I
it
learned
was
about them. Yeah.
it was the dripped of passion, like all the different responses. You could just tell they were passionate about what they
Yeah.
do,
Mhm.
and you wouldn't expect to see a lot of passion in some of the things that they do, but they
Yeah.
were passionate, and it wasn't hard. I mean, don't tell the marketing folks. However,
This was the hardest thing we've ever done.
oh my God,
Uh,
Don't tell
heavy,
marketing.
heavy lift. Oh my God, put a
yeah.
gun
You know
to
why
my
I love
head.
that is because it's usually don't tell HR.
Don't tell. Yeah, right. Don't tell. Don't tell the people in marketing for the love of God. But
Today we're not going to tell marketing. I love it.
it was actually something that
Yeah.
I know Ryan and I know we look forward to. Like it was on our schedules, and we had
Oh,
the
yeah.
bid, and it was like
Wow.
okay. It was just it. Sometimes you look at things on your calendar, you're like, oh, I would trade something to get out of this meeting.
I love it.
No, these were fun.
They were fun. That's
Yeah,
good. I'm well, hopefully the people that are going to watch the series are going to feel like it's fun as well. I feel like they're going to get a lot out of this. There's a lot of talking about best practice. There's a lot of talking about optimization. There's a lot of talking about
Hmm.
doing things the way you do them because that's the way you do them, and really thinking about it a little bit differently as well. Um, and there's a lot of passion for just the type of work that they do, because you don't think of a like a payroll administrator
Right.
or an
Right.
HR manager necessarily as being like excited or about these kinds of things, but
Right.
Hmm.
they really find the passion in it, which I think is cool. Because again, aside from like what we're trying to correct here with people heroes, it's fairly thankless,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And what people don't
100%
realize is that,
thankless.
Yeah.
to Ryan's point earlier, like if you don't get paid correctly, like that is the like the
Yeah.
lowest common denominator. Like it has to be
Hmm.
right.
Do you,
Software or not, if it's bad, it's
Yeah,
bad, and it's your fault because you're sitting
doesn't
in the
matter.
chair.
yeah,
Doesn't matter. Your name's Jane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done.
yeah. It's high
Er,
stakes, right?
er,
Like
Early in my career, I went to an American Payroll Association conference, and
look at you.
You have a boring life sometimes. I'll tell you.
dude, I would rather
What are
like
you doing
shoot
this weekend?
myself in the ankle than to ever go to an APA again. And God love them. I mean, they're good people. The conference people are
Oh,
fine. Like the organization's fine.
of
It was
course.
just doom and gloom.
It's so
Like it was the most depressing shit I have ever been through. Like I'd walk the expo hall and go, "Oh my god, I thought
yeah,
Sherm was bad. This
yeah,
is these people they're
yeah,
considering suicide. Like this
yeah,
is horrible."
yeah.
And it's because they didn't have great partners. It's
No,
because they
no.
weren't thought of
It's
highly in their organizations, etc.
it's what creates that like gray cube, gray suit kind of
Yes.
Mm.
financial services-y
Mhm.
compliance, like
Yeah.
everything's black and white and you have to do the right things kind of and we wanted to avoid that, to be honest, like as an organization in this space, because we saw so much of that, and we're not that. And it's core to our DNA, and just elevating that was really important to us
Can't
as a
fake
differentiator.
can't fake that. You can't fake
No,
that. It's all
no,
right.
you can't. And we attract a lot of people to this kind of atmosphere from those atmospheres. So
Well, and
it's
all those customers, one of the things that Ryan and I probably pre-show talked to them is would they refer
hmm
people to iSolve? I mean, universally, every single one of them
Mhm.
are like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I talk about iSolve routinely
yeah.
to people," because the question was
Well, no, they
if
said except to my competitors so that they don't have a good experience. No, I'm just kidding.
that
We'll
was
give them
one
I'm
the
just kidding.
advantage.
that, that was one that was one that was, and I know exactly which one that was. No, the thing is like they're a virtual sales team for
Mhm.
iSolve because of the way the software. Again, you gotta have great
Yeah,
software. You gotta have
yeah.
all the other things,
Love a referral.
and they're out there telling people because one of the questions we asked them is like, "Hey, you're at a cocktail party or whatever. How do you tell people? How do you describe iSolve?"
Yeah.
Uh-huh,
And again, no two definitions the same
uh-huh.
throughout the whole thing, but they all is all positive. It was
That's
all
good.
like, if you're not doing this, why are you making your life hard?
Yeah, it's pretty validating to hear.
Yeah.
The usability of our technology is pretty special too. Like to that audience, they feel heard, of course,
Yep.
about what they need, but it's just so usable. It's got just enough bells and whistles, but
Yep.
it's clean, right?
Right.
For an admin, like I hear that all the time from our customers. Like, thank you for just making this easy. I didn't have to go find that widget, like,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Which is
guess,
not which is
right?
not easy to do.
That's
It's
right.
not
No,
easy to
it
do,
is.
and I'll tell you, if you're working in a software all day, every day, it's gotta be good. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, the
It's
I'm
experience
with
has
you.
gotta be good.
it's all
I'm
the
with you.
features that you need and none that you don't. Like, then again,
Right.
that's
Right.
evolving. I mean, that's always constantly evolving,
hmm
right?
hmm
Okay, parting thoughts for the series. What do you have? What do you think about the series? And do we do it again? Like, is it one of these bits that we could take it on the road and do it some more?
Well, of course, I'm going to say yes. I think we should do more of this all the time. I just,
Now tell marketing that. Anyhow,
right?
right? No, I'm just kidding.
Like, this is not,
Um,
you were talking about it was not hard for you to take those meetings. Like, this is
no,
not hard for me to take this meeting. I'm so excited to talk about this, especially with you two gentlemen. But
Uh,
I,
Thank you.
I feel like there's a
R-
ton of value there.
Ryan, what'd you get? What do you think?
You know, I think other companies should watch this series, not just listen, like watch the videos because you will see the reactions of the people
Mm-hmm.
on the video, right? Audio is one thing. You're driving in the car, that's fine, but actually watch the videos because you'll see it's not a fake expression.
It's
Like
not
this
contrived.
Yeah.
this
Yep.
wasn't staged, no big
Mm-mm.
lights. This was just virtual, right? And
Mhm.
so it was in their own environment. They were very comfortable, and you can see it. You can see the expression on their face. They're kind of like, well, yeah, you're talking about Kevin. He's my support guy. Yeah, like duh. It was very easy to see.
I think if competitors, right? First of all, I think it's great
Yeah,
advice. If competitors watch the compilation video and they listen, let's just say they listen to it as well, they're going to see how far off they are from where y'all are.
yeah.
The
It's
distance between the two.
But don't worry, Amy, this is kind of like the fitness videos that people give away free online. You can watch all you want. You can't execute it. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna
It
get
takes
shredded.
Look, I'm all about for the betterment of humankind here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Share
yeah.
and share alike. No,
Share the education and the magic, and hopefully
yeah,
it makes it better for more people. But
New
I'm so
New
proud
year,
of
new
this. You
me.
guys did a great job. Oh, love that. Love it.
I've not done New Year's resolutions in like 30 years. So I want to thank the audience for
yeah.
watching and participating. And Amy, thank you, and Ryan, thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
And we'll